Hey everybody, welcome to Ron's Basement. I've got something fun for you today. I've been collecting memes. Do you know what a meme is? In case you don't, I'll tell you. It's one of those little pictures on the internet with some funny words. It's kind of like a political cartoon from the 70s and 80s. They always relate to something usually controversial. I've collected the top memes and a few headlines this week that relate to the precious metals and the precious metal mining stocks. The top 9 we're going to go through right now. Let's go. Let's start with Jerome Powell, and I thought this was hilarious. Basically saying, since inflation's so high, I'll just make sure nobody has jobs so they can't buy anything. That'll bring prices down. What a big week. The Fed raised rates by 0.75 of a point. We are heading toward a steep recession. That will require the Fed to pivot, and that will be good for the price of gold and silver. But I give this one an A+, probably one of my favorite of the week, but I've got 8 more to cover with you. This one comes from Zero Hedge and is more on the geopolitical arena, but German official warns of gas shortages, bankruptcies, massive price hikes that will send shockwaves throughout the country. This I wanted to share because it just shows how the entire world is suffering from a huge economic crisis. We're still all connected. That will reverberate throughout the world. That will affect the United States. Again, we're going to hit a point where this economy slows down so much that these central banks have to pivot and print more money. Mathematically, there just really is not another option unless they want to send us into a deep, deep depression. Number 3, moving back to the United States. This one is poking fun at the Fed's fight on inflation. You've got a little chihuahua almost, which is the 0.75 interest rate hike, chasing after the giant inflation rhino. I've said it before, if the Fed was really serious about fighting inflation, they would have started a long, long time ago. This little 0.75 rise coupled with the 0.25, they've raised rates only 1%. They know that they can't really fight inflation, and inflating the debt away is the only option which will devalue the dollar in the long run, regardless of how it stacks up against the euro and yen, and will result in higher precious metal prices. Number 4, moving back to the geopolitical arena, President Putin and Prime King Xi of China had a call this week. It was Xi's birthday. Putin called him to wish him happy birthday, and they pledged their support for one another. Look, this gets back to the point that geopolitically the world is changing right now faster than any other time since World War II. The Chinese and the Russians are becoming faster friends, and are moving to change the financial system. Things are changing quickly, and both Russia and China are big proponents of gold and backing currencies with real assets. Things will continue to be supportive on a geopolitical level for the price of the precious metals. Number 5, I thought this one was also hilarious. From Wall Street Silver, a meme showing a guy buying 1 ounce of silver, but how that can domino into eventually affecting the end of the global banking system. You know, it does. I mean, you know, all of us people that buy even tiny, small amounts of physical silver and hold on to it because we know the value. In the long run, the supply of silver will run out. The world is consuming more silver than it produces, and eventually that supply-demand imbalance will result in much, much higher prices for the price of silver. Number 6, a post headline from Wall Street Silver. Working class folks got grumpy when the stimmy checks disappeared. Now, the upper class folks are seeing their stimmy stocks disappear. Yeah, boy, don't get me started. But the upper class has been given what I consider a form of socialism over the last 15, 20 years with all this money printing and all the inflation that was in the stock market. The rich got richer and richer. The distribution of wealth in this country, it's ridiculous. The rich have so much wealth because of all the money printing. It was like socialism for the rich. And now, at least in the last couple of months, they're getting a taste of significant decreases, 20, 30, 40% declines in the markets. I wonder how they like it. And number 7, this is about the impending housing correction, maybe crash. This is not oil, a meme stock, or even a shitcoin. It's the average monthly mortgage payment in America up 50%. When you look at the numbers, when you consider the fact that in January, a 30-year mortgage had an interest rate of about 3%, today that rate is approaching 6.5%. People can't afford as much house. I mean, there's all kinds of examples, but the guy that could afford a $400,000 mortgage in January now can only afford a $300,000 mortgage because the rates went up. We're in a sweet spot right now in housing because there was a lot of pent-up demand. But as soon as we work through that, which I think will be sooner as opposed to later, we're going to start hearing on mainstream media about a big housing correction, maybe crash. Let's move back to silver, where we have this graph or meme from Wall Street Silver. This is a graph showing the amount of physical silver in relation to the amount of paper silver. There's 1 unit of actual physical silver. You may be holding one in your hand right now. To 364 paper silver units. That is astounding, folks. And when the balance shifts, like I talked about earlier, when the supply-demand dynamics feed through into the silver market, and maybe even just a few more people join us in the wonderful world of silver, the price of silver has the potential to skyrocket. I was watching an interview last night on Kitco, David Lynn, with the gentleman who wrote the latest big silver book. You can Google it for yourself, but he's predicting $300 silver. And that, hey, it could happen. And finally, number 9, if we really are going to have this green revolution, where is the energy going to come from? Is it going to come from coal-fired power plants? I think we need to figure the energy question out first. And furthermore, where are the minerals, where are the precious metals like silver going to come from that are needed to make the batteries? Good news for our friend silver. That's the top 9 memes and headlines of the week. I think we can learn a lot from these types of information, these sources of information. There's a reason why they got voted up on Reddit. There's a reason why they're headlines, because they're important news. And like I said, I picked ones that I believed either very directly or in some instances indirectly relate to the price of what we love, the precious metals, gold and silver. Hey, I appreciate you, the one and only you, joining me here in the basement. You're always welcome. Please consider subscribing to my channel, give the video a thumbs up, and hit that little bell icon. That way you'll get alerted every time I release a new video. But most importantly, until next time, you're here in the basement with me. You be well.